Hi guys, yes, it's almost Halloween. Traditionally, I decorate the house with some spooky projections, so I put together 3 short Blender tutorials for you, covering some of my techniques. We've got some dancing skeletons, some singing pumpkins, and some spooky eyes. And I'll be covering how to rig a model with Mixamo, how to add an armature, and how to use constraints, plus loads of other pro tips. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to start off in Sketchfab. If you just search for a skeleton, the other thing you might want to do is check downloadable. Okay, this one looks good. I shall click download 3D model and we shall choose OBJ format. You can see it's already zipped up, so we'll just unzip it. And actually there's another zipped folder inside the zipped folder, so we'll just extract that as well. Okay, finally we get to the OBJ file, which is just here. So what I'll do, I'm just going to move that off screen for a second. Heading over to Mixamo. Now we're going to click upload character here on the right, and the OBJ file we've just unzipped, just drag that over here. Okay, once it's opened in the auto rigger, these buttons just help reorientate the model if you need to, but this is perfect. Click next, and now we just drag these markers onto the correct part of the body, the wrists, the elbows, knees, and groin, and click next. Now the auto rigger usually takes about 2 minutes to do this, so I'll skip through this bit so you don't have to wait. Once the rigger's finished, you'll see, hopefully it should look something like this, and your skeleton should be now moving. Then if you click on the animations tab, you can click on any of these animations to see your skeleton in motion. So what I'll do, I'll find a couple of dancing animations. Once you've chosen an animation, click on download with skin, and 30 frames per second should be fine. Okay, we'll start with a fresh blank scene in Blender. We'll just drop the file that we've downloaded from Mixamo into the Blender scene and press import. It's a little bit small, let's just change that. Press N on your keyboard. Increase the scale till the Z height of the skeleton is about 1.6 meters. That's kind of more or less life size. Okay, so you should be able to see the skeleton dancing. If you turn off your overlays, you'll toggle the bone display on and off. What we're going to do now, we're going to add a glow material to the skeleton. So click on the materials tab with your skeleton selected, and we'll just click new. If you go up here over to the shading editor, we'll put it in viewport mode so we can see it. We're going to press X to delete the principled BSDF. We're going to add in a mix shader and connect that up to the surface. And then we're going to add 2 other materials. We're going to add an emission shader. Let's drop that into the bottom slot. So this basically gives the skeleton actually a glow. You can increase the strength of the emission shader to just the amount of glow. In fact, let's just apply this material to all of those parts. So with the ribcage selected, that's the only part so far that we have the material applied to. Let's call it glow. Press A to select everything, Control L to link, and then press link materials. Now all of the skeleton, let's just switch the bones off a sec. All of the skeleton now has that material applied to it. Okay. So obviously this is a bit too bright, let's just take that back down again. We're also going to add a transparent BSDF. So press Shift and A, search for transparent, and mix that in here. So basically now the skeleton is currently mixed with the transparency node on the left, and if we move the factor all the way to the right, it's just the emission shader. So basically this mix is what mixes between those 2 different shaders. So instead of changing the factor like this, we're going to use layer weight. So if you search for layer weight and choose the Fresnel value at the top and put that as the factor. Now what happens is anything that's on the edge of the model gets the full emission shader, and anything that's on the center gets the transparent shader. And you can obviously adjust this blend just by clicking through this. So if we hold down shift, it gives you more fine control over how that looks. So we kept this kind of cool sort of X-ray effect on the skeleton. And if we give this emission maybe a different color, perhaps like a blue color, you get this kind of cool blue glow. And in fact, let's just add a camera. Shift A, camera, Control Alt Delete matches the viewport. Alright, if I press F12 to render that, we get a quick render. Now in the compositing tab, we're also going to add, if we search for a glare node, drop that in there and change it from streaks to bloom. And I think what we'll do, we'll make the emission a little bit, back on the shading tab, let's make the emission a bit stronger. And if you click this little triangle up here, you can actually have the compositor built into the viewport as well. So that gives you an idea of how strong you need the emission to be. So now we've kind of got a cool dancing skeleton. Just going to change the world settings so the strength is 0, so we've got a totally black background. And now when I render this out, we're going to have a really nice effect. Okay, this time we're back into Sketchfab. We found a nice pumpkin that's free to download. So just download the 3D model. FBX is fine. After unzipping it, actually there is a blend file in there as well. So let's just open that straight up. Okay, we've got a nice cool little pumpkin there. I'm just gonna grab that G and Z just to move up to the level with the floor. Next we're gonna add an armature. So we're gonna do Shift and A and add an armature. Just go over here to where it says Object Data Properties, where it says Viewport Display, just put in front. This means even though the bone's in the center of the object, we can still see it nice and clearly for this. Go to Edit Mode next. Select the bottom joint, press E to extrude. Select the bottom joint again and press E to extrude again, so we've got a nice base for the pumpkin. From the top here, we can press E to extrude. And now with this bone selected, we're going to press Alt and P and we're going to clear the parent. Okay, now go into pose mode, select the main center bone, go down here to bone constraints. Now this only appears when you're in pose mode at the top left. We're going to add a stretch to constraint. The target is going to be the armature and the bone is going to be this bone 3 that we selected earlier. So now if you select bone 3 and press G to grab, you can see this center bone stretches and squashes to match it. Just press escape to get out of that. Back into object mode, select the pumpkin, hold down shift and then click on the armature. Right click, you can do parent with automatic weights. Now when we go into pose mode, we can just press G to grab this bone and you see the whole pumpkin stretches. With this bone selected, all we need to do now is press key to add a location keyframe. We can go forward a few frames, grab the bone, K for another keyframe. We've got a nice little animation going of the pumpkin moving. Maybe an even better way to do this would be just to use your mouse as a puppet. So I'm just going to clear those keyframes. If you press the little record icon, automatic keying, press space bar to play the animation and then press G to grab, and we can actually grab the pumpkin in real time and make him sing in real time to give him a bit more life. Remember to disable automatic keying after you've finished. So now you can see, let's just switch the overlays off. We've got a nice little singing pumpkin, really nice and quickly. We'll start with an empty Blender scene. Press Shift and A, we're going to add in a mesh UV sphere. Right, if we look at this just from the top view, you can press 7 on your number pad. and press tab to go into edit mode. What we're going to do, we're going to select these vertices here, so the ones just above and below the very center of the eye. We're going to switch proportional editing on, change this to sharp. And now we're going to press S to scale. I'm going to scale them in the Y axis. You can rotate your mouse wheel to kind of adjust the effect of this, how far you want it to go. We're basically aiming to have that nice kind of almond shape in the center. So I'm going to go something like this. Then we're going to press 3 on the keyboard. It also takes you to face select mode. And press C for circle select. And just quickly select all of these faces within this diamond shape. Right click to finish the circle select, then press X and delete faces. Now basically we've got a sphere with kind of an opening of sort of an iris shape. So the next thing we're going to do, tab out of edit mode. We're going to shade this auto smooth by right clicking and then click shade auto smooth. I think if you want it to look a bit smoother, you can also subdivide it. You can press Ctrl and 2 on your keyboard to add a 2-level subdivision, or you can also do this under the modifiers tab. And then we're going to rotate it on the x-axis, so RX 90, so it kind of faces this way. And then we're going to press Ctrl and A and apply all of the transforms. Okay, kind of got a basic eyeball shape here. Next thing we're going to do is add another sphere. So Shift A, Mesh UV Sphere. This one will appear straight over the top of the other one. Scale it down by pressing S and scale it just so it's fractionally smaller than the other one. Let's kind of call this pupil. Let's call this one iris. Okay, so pupil, again, shade auto smooth. That should be fine. And we can add one more. Let's add one more sphere. Shift add mesh UV sphere. Press 1 to go into front view. Tab to go into edit mode. And with all the faces, I want you to just drag and select all of those faces. In fact, let's just go to X-ray mode. This means we get the faces on both sides. Drag and select the bottom half. Press X to delete the faces. Let's turn X-ray off. Right click shade auto smooth and just press S to scale. We're just going to scale this so it's a bit bigger. 1 from the front view, R to rotate. Let's give them kind of a mean look. Rotate X, let's just pull it back so it kind of looks like a hooded eyelid shape. Right, so we've kind of got the 3 parts of the eye. Let's call this the eyelid. Okay, so that's kind of a basic eye shapes done. Right, so the next thing we want to do is add some movement to this. So we're going to Shift A, we're going to add a light, a point light. It's just appeared inside the circle, so that's why you can't see it. So press G to grab, Y to move on the Y axis, and let's just move it in front of the eyeball somewhere over here. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is have this iris, make sure it's tracked to the point light. So we're going to do this by adding a constraint. It's going to be a damped track, and the target is going to be the point light. And if the iris has just disappeared around the other side of the eyeball like mine has, you need to set the track axis to the negative Y angle. Now, when we move this point light, you'll see the eyeball moves and points towards it. That's cool. Click and drag to select all of your eyeballs and press Shift and D and then X to duplicate this on the X axis. And now when we move our point light, you can see both of our eyes move. I'm going to press 1 to go into front view. I'm just going to select this other eyelid and press R to rotate and Y to rotate it so it's more or less symmetrical. Okay, let's add some materials to this and bring it all to life. So both of these, both eyelids are going to be black. So we're going to add a new material, just set it to be black and take the roughness up to 100% so it doesn't reflect anything. Let's go into this view. To quickly copy this material onto the other eyelid, click on the other eyelid, hold down Shift and click on the eyelid you want to take the colour from, press Ctrl and L, link materials. Okay, for the pupil, I'm going to add a new material, very similar again. It's going to be black, but this time we're going to take the roughness down to just above 0. Let's do that for the same on the other pupil, link those materials. And finally, the iris, we're going to have an emission shader. So you can choose whatever colour you want, maybe blue, increase the strength a bit. Let's link those materials again. And now we're going to add a camera. Shift A, camera, grab on the y-axis, move it over there. In the tab, we're going to set the rotation on the X to 90 and reset those ones to 0. Now press 0 to view a new camera view, and if you just need to move your camera across a little bit, you can do that as well. Right, so now you'll see from the camera view, if we look around, you can see these eyes are kind of moving around looking at you. We're going to make the background a bit darker, so click on the world properties and take the strength to 0. Let's go into render to view. And also what we can do in the compositing tab, let's add in a glare node. And if we press F12 to render that, let's give us an idea. And we're going to change that from streaks to bloom. And you can also enable the compositor in the camera view up here. And now you can see we've got these creepy eyes that follow this light source around. And if you want to, you can just go back to this view. You can select all of these eyeballs, press Shift D, move them a bit, scale them a bit. Let's just move them to the camera view. And these work just the same as the other eyes, and they all follow individually. Really cool. Now all you need to do is record a little animation. So with the point selected, you can switch on the auto keying, press spacebar to play and G to grab, and we can have the eyeballs moving as you puppet them in real time with your cursor. And there we go. Really quick and simple but effective eyeball animation.